How do you recover from a rough and rocky marriage or relationship? You should listen to this video even if you don't have one, because it could very well turn that way if you don't apply the principles I'm going to teach you now. Hi, my name is Ashwin. I'm the Himalayan yogi, and unbeknownst to most people, yoga has some profound advice about relationships. And today I'm going to unravel that in front of you. Remember, when I give you this information, don't go and try and implement it right away today. Think about it, take your time, slowly introduce the ideas to your partner and get their permission and consent for each of these stages. There are basically 4 stages, and I'll tell you the value of each one of them right now. Many of my students have asked me these questions, and much of their suffering is because of a rough and rocky relationship. And nothing causes more suffering than a rough and rocky relationship. I speak from experience. So I'm going to tell you what I know and what I learned from my teacher. And here it is. The first step is to set common goals for your relationship. What are common goals for a relationship? Domestic goals like the cleanliness of the house and anything else like the maintenance and running of the house, paying of bills and whatever, buying of stuff, purchases. All of these are domestic roles, and you need to have these things sorted out by making goals for the month and for the week, and even breaking it down to daily goals. If you have your daily domestic goals sorted out, then you're going to have a lot of peace. Okay, a lot of fights happen because couples don't manage to agree upon domestic goals. So sit your partner down and come to agreement about these things. And there's no need to get into heated arguments while you agree upon these things. Just go over it slowly. If they have an objection, listen to it, hear it out, and see what you can do best in order to accommodate the objection and still come to agreement. Okay. Now the second thing is financial goals. A lot of couples have problems because they haven't fixed any financial goal for the year, they haven't fixed any financial goal for the month, and they haven't fixed any kind of financial goal for the week. So this includes not just how much you earn, but how you spend it as well. You've got to be clear about how you are going to spend your money, into how much are you going to save, what are you going to invest, what are you going to give to charity, and how much of it needs to be kept aside for taxes. If you run a business, if you're an employee, then it gets cut before it comes to you, so you don't have to worry about taxes. So all of these things need to be discussed, agreed upon, and only then you'll find some peace on this front. Okay, if you even discuss these 2 things, you'll find a lot of peace, a lot of quarrels and problems coming down. Now the next one is family goals. Both of you have families. He has parents and you have parents, and she has parents, whatever, however it is. You also have extended family, and how you behave towards the other person's family and how you behave towards your family, this should be clearly settled and this should be agreed upon. If you cannot agree upon this, you cannot have a marriage or you cannot have a relationship. And friends, right? Family goals includes friends as well. So he has friends, she has friends. So you got to find out how you got to agree upon how you're going to interact with all of these people. All right. And many times this becomes a bone of contention, and couples kind of lose their spark because they've been arguing about this issue. Okay. So here, one more step and you feel a lot more relief. I'm going to give you a few more steps for you to feel relief. The next one is parenting goals. If you have children, or if you're going to have children, you're planning to have children, you want to have children, you need to discuss this and come to agreement about their upbringing, what kind of discipline you're going to impose upon them, and what kind of education you're going to give to them, and what kind of upbringing you're going to give to them, and what kind of nourishment you're going to give to them, both physically, food-wise, and emotionally, how much time you're going to spend with them. All of these things need to be discussed and agreed upon and written as a monthly goal. This many hours with the kids, this many places we're going to visit, this much educational activities are going to happen, and so on and so forth. So you need to learn how to prioritize and plan all of these into goals. Okay, it sounds complicated, but it's not once you start writing it down. And you can put in daily goals, and if you put in daily goals, that's when you're going to have a great relationship. It's going to be fantastic when there's clarity about goals every day. Next, you're going to make intimacy and sexual goals. All right, and these goals are often neglected by couples. They think intimacy and sexuality is going to happen by itself unless you assign time for it, and unless you're planning some kind of learning even in these places. Like, it's not just spending time, it's what am I going to do, what can we do to each other to excite each other, how can we surprise each other, what can we plan out, right? You need to agree upon your intimacy goals, all right? And that's actually not really the first priority, because you really need to get all of the other stuff sorted out, and then you'll have the time and the mood for this. Because if you've got stress hormones going, your sexual hormones will not be going in your body, all right? So once you've sorted out all the others, then you get to the intimacy goals, because then you'll have time and you'll be able to spend time with each other, being intimate and being sexual. So these are things that you need to discuss in depth, and many people have a bone of contention here too, and they don't do very well with this. Okay, so that's about goal setting. Now, goals are the glue of the relationship. Once you've glued together over goals, there is one more step, and the other step is to chalk out role clarity for each of these goals, which means write out a description of what either of you needs to do to make this work, and keep your ego out of it. Okay, discuss what you need to learn, what you need to turn into, who you need to be in order to execute these things. So it's discussion of where your shortcomings are and where you need to improve in all of these things, and be honest with it. Don't let your ego get in the way, and you'll be very happy with it. At the end of it is worth spending time. And look, you don't have to do this weekend. You can take your time, phase it out, spend time saying, I'm going to discuss these goals and roles maybe on Saturdays from 11 to 1 o'clock. Keep 2 hours for it every week, and then you'll start getting things in gear. All right, and then one more thing is, a very important thing is boundaries. But before I tell you about boundaries, are you enjoying this talk? If you've reached so far and you like this talk, don't you think you should share it with your friends? So please hit the share button and continue. I'm going to wait for you to hit the share button right now. Please share this talk. Okay, boundaries. Boundaries are things that will keep you safe from hurt and bitterness. Hurt and bitterness has killed many relationships, and defining boundaries and agreeing upon them and respecting them is a safeguard against hurt and bitterness. So, write out everything that you won't tolerate, that you find hard to tolerate. Write it all down. Just write it all down honestly. That's who you are, okay? Don't apologize for it. And discuss it till agreement is reached mutually. Now, if you cannot come to agreement upon this, give it some time, and then you can reconsider it, right? You need to grow. You need to grow, and you need to reduce your boundaries for sure. In a good relationship, the boundaries are there, but they're very specific and good boundaries. It's not about everything. You don't have boundaries about everything. There's a lot which you can say is all right. It's not a problem. You can go ahead with it. But you're not going to tolerate abuse of any kind. So please write that down strictly, what is abusive and what will make you feel hurt and make you feel neglected and make you feel bitter. Write it all down and then consider it. You should be able to respect those things, okay? You should not feel like a loser and weakling when you put down all of your boundaries. So work on this, all right. And the last one is to create a culture charter, which means define a set of mutually agreeable values. What are examples of this? Like, let every interaction be win-win. You should also get something and I should also get something from every interaction or every kind of activity that we plan together. Both of us should gain. So that's called being in a win-win. Second, respecting consent. say, until you have your complete consent, don't do anything for me, and I will not also do anything for you until I have your complete consent, and I mean I have given my complete consent to it. Okay, so that's maybe another value that you can add. So try and think of values like these which you can put into your relationship and uphold them, and write them down on a card or a piece of paper and put it somewhere where you can see it. These are the values in our relationship. Put it down where you can see it every day. Put it on the mirror if you want. These are the values upon which my relationship is based, right? So that brings us to the end of how to recover from a rocky and rough marriage or relationship. These rules of goals and rules and boundaries and culture have been passed down from Shankarnath, who was the founder of yoga, and you all know about his legendary relationship with Parvati. That's when he developed all of these. He and she both together developed these rules. All right. That's why this has been passed down for 17,000 years, and it's been working for any yogi who's in a relationship. So if you want to bring some yoga into your relationship, start practicing these things and let me know how it's going in the comments below. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.